The last take from the CWC comes from my guy, B-Master84. B-Master says, my big takeaway is that Raw was good and confusing at the same time. It's clear Triple H loves his NXT people and seems to push them more than Vince's people. He says he doesn't see color, but he's a damn liar because he sees black and gold. B-Master, hit me up in the Discord once you hear this and let me know what part of Monday Night Raw was confusing. Because I'm going to go off of assumption here, and if I'm wrong, then you let me know I'm wrong. But I'm going to assume that when you speak on him seeing black and gold, you have to be talking about, I assume, Lyra Valkyria and Io Sky and maybe the War Raiders. That's the parts I'll assume. I'll make assumptions here. Now, I don't love any of those three. I'm not a big fan of the black and gold or just the NXT products in general. I don't think they're the biggest parts of Monday Night Raw right now. I think that, though, when you look at Monday Night Raw this past week, I thought it was a very effective show at what it needed to do in each segment of the night, starting with Seth Rollins and CM Punk. I think CM Punk came out, set the world on fire, got the show started right, especially coming into a show where you weren't really going to further the John Cena story. You were going to tell us about it 100 times, but you weren't going to further it. You needed CM Punk to immediately get everybody's minds off of that situation. I thought he did a very good job of that. I thought that Seth Rollins coming out, them continuing to clash and fight and go at each other all night, I thought that was great. I think it set up that we're getting two alpha dogs at WrestleMania that don't like each other, and they're going to throw down, they're going to throw hands, and it's going to be just a fun, aggressive fight. You throw in on top of that Becky Lynch decided to tweet out about not being the one that needs to come get her man. And I think this match screams drama. I think this match, this set up exactly what it needed to do. That's a check for me to start the show. So then you move to Otis and Gunther, which I talked about earlier in the show, but I'll kind of break it down again. I think the only way to give Gunther heat at this point is you got to just feed him babyface after babyface. And if that's what you got to do, it's what you've got to do. Gunther's taken down Tozawa. He's taken down Otis. He's continued to terrorize Jey Uso. Like, they're just going to feed people to Gunther to try to give him the best opportunity to generate a little bit of heat going into WrestleMania. I think, like, once again, with Gunther, it's just missed opportunities as far as I'm concerned. It was on the tray to look at Otis and call him fat, to say you don't look like a wrestler, to go to cross over that line. Because my issue with Gunther continues to be he's the PC heel, right? He's politically correct. He will walk all the way up to that line, but he just will not cross over to being the heel that we want him to be. He won't call Otis fat. He won't say the thing that's slightly, and he won't give us the MJF moment. And I think that's dangerous for a heel, to have a heel that has like such high moral values and I know Gunther, that's kind of Gunther's, position is he is like the all about strictly wrestling, but I think you got to cross that line every so often. But I still think feeding him baby faces is an efficient means to getting us to where we need to be with Jey and Gunther. Then you go Lyra versus Ivy. Once again, I stated this earlier. This match was just to strengthen the title for WrestleMania. Like, they're gonna give Lyra as many title defenses as they can give her before they have to actually sell the story of what is official for WrestleMania. Raquel Rodriguez is just the next victim. I still believe Becky Lynch is coming. I don't want it to be Dakota Kai. I stated I'm okay with it being a Roxanne Perez. Either way, the plan here, strengthen the title, because Chelsea Green is going to be the more comedic, less defending champion. Chelsea Green doesn't need a reputation. She can be entertaining without it. I think because Lyra Valkyria lacks character and lacks personality, she needs the prestige, and that's why you're going to see Lyra Valkyria win consistently up until WrestleMania, is they have to build a level of credibility for her. We got a Kaiser promo. Kaiser getting airtime to me is always a good thing. I think he's extremely good. Penta being a part of that promotes Penta. It's pretty simple. I think it's pretty simple to understand. These are both extremely valuable assets to WWE, and if you don't have a match for them, this is a great way to get them on air. The thing that I'm maybe not confused about, but it tends to bore me is the War Raiders. I don't find them to be interesting. I thought the War Raiders and the Creeds, it's a fine match. I got no issue with it, but it's just vanilla. The War Raiders just don't do it for me. Maybe they do it for other people, and not everything's meant to be for me. I would much rather have the Creeds as champions right now, but maybe we're waiting for WrestleMania. Like, I knew once I'd seen it spoiled that EO was going to be winning the world championship. I knew in that moment that you weren't going to have 2 title changes on this show. So, like, it's going to continue to be the War Raiders until WrestleMania. That may be where we're getting a switch up. But I think, once again, the more interesting part of this segment was that we got the cutaway to Chad Gable. And just want to go on record that I called it. I told Wavy D on an episode of Wavy Mania that Chad Gable was clearly going to transition into a lucha. And I'm 100% in the belief that there's an American lucha mask in that box, and that Chad Gable is going to pull a lucha style match at WrestleMania, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. We got Braun Breaker and Finn Balor. I think maybe this is the plan for WrestleMania here. I think that we may get a Finn Balor versus Braun Breaker match, which features all of Judgment Day going into WrestleMania. I think there's a part of me that believes this might be the last chapter for Finn Balor. As far as Judgment Day goes, I'd like to believe that Finn goes against Braun Breaker. Braun just absolutely destroys him. Finn is crushed. Finn disappears. Judgment Day is completely lost. And the next night on Monday Night Raw, the Judgment Day is looking for a new leader. And Malachi Black shows up to take over the Judgment Day and once again gives a resurgence to a Judgment Day who just won't seem to go away. But I think, to me, that's a high possibility of what could happen there. So it makes sense. And then last you have Io and Rhea, which is what I assume you're confused about, but this makes sense if you really think about it. They're not ready to pull the trigger on a straight up Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley match. They're going to test the water. Now I've seen unsubstantiated reports that Rhea Ripley could be out at WrestleMania. Once again, I believe this all to be deception. I think that they either hold off and Rhea is a surprise entrance at Mania in the moment for this massive explosion of a pop. More likely she figures out how to get back into the match in the next couple weeks. But ultimately, I predict that this leads to an interaction at WrestleMania between Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair in a story that continues on to Backlash, and it will continue all the way through SummerSlam, and we'll get the proper really kind of payoff at SummerSlam to Bianca and Rhea. The question here to me is, what's interesting and makes this intriguing to me, are they willing to have Bianca lose a triple threat match at WrestleMania? I don't know what that does to her streak. Is her streak purely based on one-on-one? Or would this ultimately end the streak? Because I could see a world where Io retains and moves on because Rhea and Bianca are so focused on each other. But it's either that or Bianca wins the title and we go on and Io once again kind of flaps in the wind trying to figure out what to do with her. But I don't think it's confusing. I mean, I think this appeases all of the Io stans who like need her to be in a big match. Because I don't know if you paid attention there, B-Master, but she got a great crowd reaction in a match against Rhea Ripley, which is crazy based on the fact that Rhea Ripley's not a heel. She is a tweener at best, a baby face. And so for Io Sky to get a loud, pronounced chant during that match definitely kind of woke me up and was like, what am I missing with Io Sky that I'm not connecting to her on that level? So I would say I thought it was a super effective Monday Night Raw. Like I said, let me know in the Discord or in the comments what you found confusing so we could converse about that a little bit, because I'd be interested to see which part of it you didn't really like. But